Mr. Skoronsky, please share the summary of your novel with the audience.
Athletic Shorts is in the form of 6 short stories. Each of these stories is about an athlete, mostly male, who is experiencing or is going to experience an obstacle in their life. Most stories are about controversial subjects such as AIDS, racism, and homosexual persons. No matter how bad the obstacle, all characters end up making.
Thank you, Mr. Skoronsky. You may deliver your position statement.
If you were to read the book Athletic Shorts by Chris Crusher, you would find many things. Some of these things include profane language, lack of respect to parents, sexual harassment, ill treatment to God, racial discrimination, illegal drug use, and inappropriate treatment of homosexual persons. There is no reason why this book shouldn't certainly be banned. For example, drug use and sexual harassment are illegal. Well, kids would think, well, if it's in a book I'm allowed to read, it's okay to do some of the things in it, but that's wrong. Even if you looked in your planner, you would see some of these types of behaviors are prohibited. And performing these behaviors would definitely lead to very bad consequences. If you aren't allowed to perform these behaviors in society or at school, you shouldn't be learning about them through this book. Now, if you were a parent, would you really want your child reading about stuff like this?
Thank you, Mr. Skoronsky. Your time is up.
Mr. Rohde, you may now deliver your position statement.
Would you want to be made fun of or treated differently because you looked or acted differently? The book Athletic Shorts shouldn't be banned because the gays and lesbians in this book are teaching people around the world to be yourself. LGBTs, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders make up 25% of the world's suicides. These suicides happen because there are people making fun of them for their differences. You make fun of the tall or the short, and why the gay or lesbian. Think to yourself, if you were gay or lesbian, would you want to be treated differently? This book also deals with AIDS. AIDS is a disease when there is a severe loss in the body resistance to infection. AIDS is a very deadly disease. It takes the lives of over 1 million people each year. COPD is also a very deadly disease. It is most common in people who smoke. Smoking is very dangerous by itself. When smoking turns to COPD, it is very deadly. Taking just as many lives as AIDS. Would you ban a book because it had a smoker in it?
Thank you, Mr. Rohde. Your time is up.
Mr. Skoronsky, you have 1 minute for your rebuttal.
You might have said that we have the right to choose, but behaviors like drug use and racial discrimination and sexual harassment wouldn't be accepted in society. Other things like profane language and lack of respect to parents and inappropriate treatment of homosexual persons are just plain wrong. No matter what religion, ill treatment to God is still inappropriate. As children, we are taught not to do any of these things. This book should not be caught in the hands of any kids. We all have the right to choose, but adult leaders of society have the right to guide children. You may think kids are able to handle it, but if you think about it, most kids our age would just read this book and laugh and giggle. Even if you're thinking, well, that's not that bad, we've all been exposed to that. If there was someone who swore constantly, disrespected parents, homosexuals and God, sexually harassed people, and used drugs, would you want to be friends with that person?
Thank you, Mr. Skoronsky. Your time is up.
Mr. Rohde, you now have 1 minute for your rebuttal.
Mr. Skoronsky mentioned the profanity in this book. Even though it is used maybe a few more times than it needs to be, I think it is being used to really prove the point. It is being used to intensify what is going on. I think this will be okay for our age. We are no longer 5. We should, or 11 and 12, we should be able to handle this. And I don't know where you saw the unfair treatment to the homosexuality.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodey. Your time is up.
Mr. Skoronsky, you now have an additional 30 seconds to conclude your thoughts.
You said that you don't know where you found the unfair treatment of homosexuality. Actually, in the first story, there's a kid named Angus Bethune and his parents. He has divorced parents, and both of those parents are married, or gay or lesbian. And so he gets made fun of sometimes at school when this happens, like because of his background. So that I think all that was unfair treatment. And
Thank you, Mr. Skronsky. Your time is up.
Mr. Rhodey, you now have an additional 30 seconds to conclude your thoughts.
When you said that he was being disrespected at school about it, I think again the whole point of that was just to say that the people it's all right to do that, and people have the right to decide if they want to be in life. So that's where I think that was all right.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodey. Your time is up.
Thank you, Mr. Skoronsky and Mr. Rhodey, for participating.